Our channel name is HOA Wisdom Stories. Subscribe to our channel, and as always, no asking the audience which country they're from, what time it is, or which video they're watching. Let's get straight into today's wild story. It started on a quiet Tuesday morning, the kind of morning where everything feels routine, predictable, and almost boring. But in my neighborhood, routine rarely survived contact with one particular force of nature. Karen, the self-appointed queen of our HOA. She wasn't just a rule enforcer, she was a rule inventor. She made rules, interpreted rules, twisted rules, and weaponized rules like she got paid per violation slip. I had been living in this neighborhood for 2 years, minding my own business, going to work, paying dues on time, keeping a clean yard, everything to avoid attention. But fate had other plans, and it all centered around my Jeep. Now, to everyone else, my Jeep looked like a normal, rugged Wrangler with a matte, black paint job. Nothing fancy, nothing flashy, but that Jeep wasn't just a Jeep. It belonged to a covert police task force, a vehicle used for undercover operations, quietly borrowed by me with authorization whenever logistics required safe storage at home. Karen, of course, didn't know that. To her, the Jeep was an unsightly, non-compliant off-road hazard with inappropriate modifications. Her words, not mine. The problem began when the HOA rolled out a new parking policy. No vehicles with non-factory exterior accessories may be parked in driveways overnight. That included my winch, my reinforced bumper, and my removable roof rack. Basically, the things that made the Jeep a Jeep. I received 3 warning letters in 1 week, all taped to my door with unnecessary aggression. I tried explaining to Karen that the Jeep was authorized, legal, and exempt from typical registration, visibility rules for safety reasons. She didn't believe a word. She told me she knew all about fake badges, fake stickers, and people pretending to be something they're not. I told her politely to stop harassing me. She told me she'd handle it her way. Little did I know that her way meant breaking at least 2 state laws before breakfast. I normally parked the Jeep in my garage, but on the night things went south, the garage door motor had failed. I had no choice but to park the Jeep in the driveway. I figured it would be safe for 1 night. Wrong. The next morning, I stepped outside and froze. The lock on my Jeep's tire boot, a law enforcement-issued encoded lock, had been cut clean through with bolt cutters. The driver side door was slightly open. Papers were scattered everywhere, and worst of all, the entire Jeep had been dragged 3 feet onto the street. Karen stood proudly beside it, wearing sunglasses and a fluorescent HOA vest she'd clearly printed at home. "Good morning," she said smugly. "I've taken corrective action." I stared at her. "You did what?" "This vehicle is in violation. I removed the boot since you refused to comply. The Jeep will be towed within the hour." My brain stalled. She didn't just break into a vehicle. She broke into a federal task force vehicle. "Karen," I said slowly, "that wasn't an HOA boot. That was a police device." She scoffed. "Oh, please, I know a bluff when I hear one." She lifted the bolt cutters with pride like a trophy, nothing a little elbow grease couldn't handle. I called my task force contact immediately. His reaction, a long silence, then, "Tell me she did not cut that lock." "Oh, she cut it. And tell me she did not enter the vehicle. She's standing inside it right now." I heard a muttered curse followed by, "We're sending a team, do not let her touch anything else." Too late. Karen was rummaging through the glove compartment like she was searching for a lost treasure. 15 minutes later, black SUV rolled into the neighborhood in perfect formation. Agents stepped out with badges visible, radios clicking, and expressions colder than steel. And right in the middle of the street, Karen was still digging through the Jeep. One of the agents approached. "Ma'am, please step away from the vehicle." Karen rolled her eyes. "Look, I already called towing. You'll have to wait your turn, ma'am." The agent repeated, "This is a restricted federal vehicle. You are interfering with a police task force operation." Karen laughed, actually laughed like she thought she'd caught them in a lie. "You know what? You people can't scare me. I'm reporting all of you to the HOA board, every single one." Then she tried to close the Jeep door, but because she'd damaged the hinge earlier, It swung back open and smacked her in the face. The agents looked at each other. One whispered, "Is she normally like this?" I nodded. "Worse, actually. With legal protocol, they raid her rights." When they cuffed her, she shouted at me like I had betrayed her personally. "This is your fault. Your illegal Jeep caused all this." The supervising agent turned to me. "We'll need your statement, and thank you for calling when you did." She compromised evidence. Karen gasped dramatically. "Evidence of what? Parking violations, littering." The agent gave her a look colder than winter. "National security investigations, ma'am." She went pale. The HOA board held an emergency meeting that evening. The board president, who had been pretending not to know Karen for months, tried to distance the HOA from her actions. "We had no knowledge of her enthusiasm," he clarified nervously, but the agents presented footage from neighborhood cameras showing Karen cutting the lock, entering the Jeep, and attempting to steal documents. The board sat silently, shifting in their chairs like children caught cheating on a test. Karen's membership was revoked immediately, but the bigger issue was liability. Breaking into a federal vehicle and tampering with secured evidence was no small matter. She wasn't facing a slap on the wrist. She was facing real charges. And the kicker? The task force required reimbursement for the damaged lock, the hinge, and compromised equipment. Total cost $22,800. Karen fainted when she heard it. No exaggeration, straight to the floor. Weeks later, peace finally returned to the neighborhood. The Jeep sat safely in my newly repaired garage. No more warning letters, no more harassment, no more fluorescent vests. I ran into the supervising agent again during follow-up paperwork. He smirked and said, "You know, we encounter difficult people all the time, but your HOA lady, she's a new category." I laughed. "Trust me, I've been trying to tell people. Next time," he said, "just call us the moment she goes near the Jeep." "Oh, I will." The neighborhood learned something valuable from all this. Sometimes the biggest threat to national security isn't criminals. It's a bored HOA Karen with bolt cutters.